me what's going on for you and how could I best support you right now?
Okay, I just have a few questions, some regarding the LSAT Flex and just some like topics that I just wanted clarification on. Um, my first question is like the two main differences between the LSAT and the LSAT Flex, because I'm going to be taking the LSAT Flex
And when are you taking it?
October 3rd.
Okay, so you've got a little while, about a month and a half, and so it's definitely time to get familiar with all the differences involved. I've got an FAQ as well as several videos on this that I'll refer you to, but shortest answer is that the LSAT Flex is 3 sections
Hmm.
back to back, 1 games, 1 reasoning, 1 reading comp. So you're
Okay.
not doing an experimental section and you're not doing a second logical reasoning.
Okay.
That's really the biggest thing to be aware of. So you're done in 2 hours, 3 sections back to back, only 1 minute in between them. And obviously, given COVID, you're doing it from home online on your computer, not in person at a testing center.
And when you've spoke to other students that have taken the LSAT Flex, have they like explained their experiences or like how they felt about the test? If maybe they took an earlier version and they did the regular LSAT as well as the LSAT Flex, has anyone said anything about it?
That's a great question. Yeah, and I have heard plenty of feedback, of course. We've had already 3 LSAT Flex administrations, and we'll have a 4th one at the end of August in just a few days. And the differences are really that you're doing it on a computer, so the device is different. You're
Hmm.
doing it from home, so the environment you're taking it in is different, and it's also shorter. And you're being proctored online rather than with a person proctoring you live in person.
Hmm.
So some people prefer it, some people don't prefer it. I would definitely ask others in the LSAT Unplugged Facebook group what their experiences have been like, because there are plenty of members who've taken it before, and I've got some videos on the YouTube channel with students who've taken it as well.
Okay. And are you familiar with ProctorU? Because once I selected that I was taking the LSAT, I wasn't really walked through how to sign up for it or when I'm supposed to sign up for it. So could you tell me about that?
Yeah, sure. So I am, of course, familiar with ProctorU. They're the ones administering it from the security and proctoring standpoint. And LSAC's communication hasn't always been clear, so I understand why you would have those questions. Basically, scheduling hasn't opened yet. So you could register
Okay.
for the October LSAT, yet you still can't choose a date and time.
Okay. Okay, cool. And now my questions are more geared towards the logical game section because I was explaining to you in my emails that that's been the section that's given me the most struggles. And I feel like most of my problems come when it's time to answer the questions because of the inferencing. So, what would be your best tips? I know they say like make the best notations as possible, but once I get to the questions, I completely blank. So, what would be your best advice for that?
Yeah, so you do want to make inferences up front, and you want all your diagramming to be as clear and simple as possible. So refining your diagramming process in terms of how you lay out rules, how you symbolize things, so that a week later, a month later, even a year later, you would still be able to interpret what you've written down. So in a way, it is like learning a new language. And so you got to give it some time, but it'll take time to figure out also what works for you there.
Hmm. Okay. Um, in terms of like the admissions process, and I know that you didn't actually go to law school, but do you have any advice regarding that and your LSAT with your personal statement, all of it, like what basically you should focus on and any words of wisdom?
Well, focus on the LSAT to start. It's the biggest factor in the admissions process.
Okay.
And between now and the October LSAT, you've really got to get used to ProctorU, the LSAT Flex, the whole exam, knowing all about it, taking practice tests in Law Hub, aka Official LSAT Prep Plus, where you get the majority of exams in that same digital and flex format with the software. So first and foremost, familiarize yourself with that.
Okay.
Then there's, of course, your GPA, which is probably fixed at this point, or largely fixed at least. And then there's everything else. And so I would work on those soft factors during primarily those 3 weeks while you're waiting for your LSAT score to come back. So LSAT Flex for you will be approximately October 3rd. Scores come back about 3 weeks later. So you've got 3 weeks to really hit it hard with your personal statement and any other application essays you might want to write. You could work on them a little bit on the side now just to get some drafts going to extend the writing process, because that would help you create a better end result. But I've got plenty in the course on this. I've got several law school personal statement and other application essay workshops I'm running regularly inside the course. So you can actually submit drafts and we'll workshop them. I'll give
Okay.
feedback. Other students will give feedback to help you make it as good as possible.
Okay, and in terms of the personal statement, I already have one that I've started drafting. And for the schools that I'm applying for, they pretty much have the same general question, talk about your accomplishments, anything personal to you, but not necessarily any specific questions they want you to answer. So would you have to write one for every single college, or could you kind of tag team and change it up a little bit and use the same type of statement?
Yeah, you can use the same one. They very rarely ask anything specific in law school personal statements. The topic is pretty open-ended. Tell us about yourself. And so generally the expectation is that you'll use the same essay for all schools, and that's fine.
Okay. And I am a senior. So do you think that taking the LSAT in October that I'm kind of behind the game, or do you think I'm right on target, or?
It's not behind at all. In fact,
Okay.
October is perfectly fine. Even November is perfectly fine. And I might suggest that you consider taking the November LSAT because it would give you more time to study, give you more time to get familiar with everything involved, both in terms of the LSAT content as well as the format of the exam itself. Because
Okay.
you want to do several full-length timed exams in the lead up to test day. But if you're just asking about ProctorU and what the flex is like now and the biggest difference is, you might want to take more time to really get a sense of what's involved here and how it differs from doing the LSAT out of a book.
Okay, because I didn't sign up for a course other than yours just because they're crazy expensive. And when I was trying to think of the best resources for self-study, that's what was recommended to me.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad to have you on board, and I'm happy to help in any way as you move forward.
Okay, those are all the questions that I had, but thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me.
My pleasure, Cameron. Of course, keep in touch and let me know if you need anything at all moving forward.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.